Welcome to Brainverse. Today we are going to look at 10 myths about space which you probably shouldn't believe. So let's get straight into it. Myth number 1, we explode in space. Like many of the myths that will follow, this one was created by Hollywood. Quite often it happens that movie makers aren't really concerned about facts. They will take the liberty of changing some facts to make a scene more interesting. From movies, we know that the instant a human is exposed to outer space without a protective suit, he or she will most likely explode in a splatter of blood. But that is not true. Exposure to space will definitely kill you, but not instantly and not in such a visceral way. A human being can survive exposed to space for about half a minute with no permanent damage. It won't be pleasant, but it's not instant death. You would probably die due to lack of oxygen. Myth number 2, the sun is a ball of fire. The sun is not a burning ball of fire, it is actually glowing. The heat and light spreads out from the center of the ball of gas toward the edges, and that's what makes the sun glow. So there is no normal flame in the sun, at least not like the flames we have in a fire here on Earth, because the energy and light and heat is coming from the nuclear reaction. Myth number 3, the sun is yellow. Ask anyone to draw a sun and they will immediately reach for the yellow color. It seems normal. We've been using that yellow crayon for the sun ever since we were little, and all we could draw was the crappy front of a house and the sun smiling in the corner. If we ever needed more evidence, we could just go outside and look at the sun, and it definitely appears to be yellow. However, it is a misconception that the sun is yellow, or orange or even red. The sun is essentially all colors mixed together, which appear to our eyes as white. This is easy to see in pictures taken from space. If you ever meet an astronaut or someone who has been to space, feel free to ask them. Myth number 4, there's a dark side of the moon. Many people believe that there is a dark side of the moon which never sees light. The idea that the moon has a side which is constantly bathed in darkness is false. As the moon is orbiting Earth, it's also rotating on its axis, so we're always seeing the same side of the moon. But the opposite side isn't dark, it gets the same amount of sunlight as the other side. All sides of the moon receive sunlight at various points. Myth number 5, black holes are like vacuums. As we learn more and more about black holes, experts are more likely to compare them to Venus flytraps rather than vacuums. Black holes don't suck up everything nearby, instead, they sit pretty dormant, then if a star approaches it and gets too close, the black hole becomes active. And still, only some of the objects nearby get ripped apart by the black hole. Myth number 6, the moon has no gravity. There are some who claim that there is no gravity on the moon. This is, of course, completely absurd. As any astronaut who has been to the moon will attest, it does indeed have gravity. Conspiracy theories about the moon landings aside, there is plenty of footage from the manned missions that are clearly showing they are under the influence of gravity. Whilst the moon does have gravity, it is only about 1/6 of Earth. Astronauts who've been there recall how they feel lighter and can leap around its surface with ease, although the spacesuit dampens the effect. Myth number 7, you would be burned to a crisp if sucked out of an airlock. In truth, the reality is actually far worse. Any part of you in the shade of space will experience temperatures somewhere in the order of -250 degrees Celsius. This would certainly begin to freeze you. Any part of you that is facing the sun will experience temperatures in excess of 250 degrees Celsius. At this kind of temperature, your body will not only burn but probably worse, boil. Of course, that's before we talk about your lungs collapsing and your blood boiling from the low air pressure. Astronaut Chris Hadfield explains that this would mean you burn, freeze, boil, get the bends and not be able to breathe, all at the same time. There are certainly better ways to die. Unless, like in The Last Jedi, you have the Force, apparently. Myth number 8, Planet 9 will kill us. In April 2016, the New York Post tweeted, "A newly discovered planet could destroy Earth as soon as this month." The newspaper was referring to Planet 9, a theoretical planet at the edge of the solar system. An accompanying video also claimed that the new planet would be throwing all sorts of asteroids and comets at Earth, which would supposedly end up pummeling our planet. Although the planet's existence has not been confirmed, astronomers are actively looking for it to explain motions of some objects in the icy Kuiper Belt, a vast region of icy objects beyond Neptune. If the planet is actually found, the California Institute of Technology's Mike Brown says the planet will pose no threat to us. Myth number 9, there is a killer planet known as Nibiru. Conspiracy theorists say another dangerous planet is Nibiru, which was first mentioned in the 1976 book The 12th Planet, by Zakaria Sitchin. In the book, Sitchin translated ancient Sumerian cuneiform and claimed that the text is proof of a planet beyond Neptune called Nibiru that orbits the Sun every 3,600 years. Years later, self-proclaimed psychic Nancy Leader claimed to have communicated with extraterrestrials who said Nibiru would collide with Earth in 2003. When that didn't happen, the date was moved to 2012. Of course, the collision never occurred. The world didn't end in 2012, and no astronomer has ever found a planet on a collision course with Earth. At last, we have myth number 10, there are canals on Mars. Author Percival Lowell became one of space's first popularizers when he wrote many books for the general public back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. In these books and other writings, he said there were canals on Mars built by an intelligent civilization, perhaps to move water into desert-stricken areas. He claimed to have seen the canals in his own telescope, and produced several sketches that are still available on the internet today. There are no artificial canals on Mars. Several spacecraft have flown by the planet or orbited it, and not one has caught signs of aliens from orbit. What they have seen, however, are smaller channels that were created by nature, likely from water, ice or other processes that cause erosion. Hope you liked the video and you do not believe in these myths anymore. If you liked the video, like, share and subscribe and press the bell icon to get notified about all upcoming content.